Hey everybody, from the looks of it, this piece looks super close to being done. Just gonna adjust some colors here and there. But I mean, the idea is there, and we just gotta finish it off with the quality here. So I just see that like this form shadow needs to be changed color, so I'm just gonna get in there right now and just kind of let the brush move, and if there's anything we gotta talk about, then I'll talk about it. But yeah, so we'll finish it now. Let's turn on that alpha lock. And what's on my mind? So I'm coming back to this piece after finishing that Catholic commission that I had, based on the request was the Blessed Mother stepping on the Santa Muerte, which is this sort of spooky skeletal figure that is prayed to by certain religious sects. Some people describe it as a cult, but I don't really know if that's a thing. I don't know too much about it at all. Do I need to turn on my focus? Yeah, let's turn that on. Okay. So I don't know too much about it at all, besides the small amount of research I did on the Santa Muerte, but it seems like the church largely considers it like this sort of demonic figure that's people are praying to in Mexico, or in Mexican communities. It seems to be tied to Mexican drug cartels. I don't really know much about it, but if the church has already condemned it, then I stand by the church's condemnation. I just learned about it a couple days ago, and I'm not judging the people, but to judge the thing itself, if it is demonic, which it surely seems like it is, then we condemn that. But anyway, I got some feedback on it because I drew a version of Our Lady that's very similar to Our Lady of Guadalupe, but not quite, because I guess I consider the Guadalupe image a perfect image, and I didn't feel like I would be able to do it justice if I were to draw like the stars and the floral patterns on Mary's garments. I got some feedback saying, if this piece is like a declaration that the Lady of Guadalupe is going to triumph over this demonic image, then you should proclaim that and use the image of the image of Guadalupe. So I think for me it would actually be stronger to add them in. I mean, I'll do it when I have time, which is hard to come by lately, but I think I will do it. Another thing is that was an encouragement to me was not that just that I should do it, but God, assuming, the belief that the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, was created by God. It was not created to be, kept under wraps. Like, it's obviously, it's a painting. It's a painting on a cloak, on a garment, and it's still preserved to this day. And it's beautiful. It's perfectly made. I consider it a perfect image. And if it wasn't meant to be shared, then we would put it under a bushel. Then we would tape it up somewhere and let it be hidden for the rest of its earthly life. But it was meant to be shared. It's an image. It's meant to be seen by many people, and it's been seen by millions, maybe even billions of people. I was thinking, I could make my art point to it in such a way that, would be subtle. But I think if we're going to go, with Our Lady of Guadalupe, it's a distinctly Mexican piece that I drew. I'm not Mexican, but it's a distinctly Mexican piece, but because of the subject matter. So I can and should, represent the Lady of Guadalupe there. Do I have a particular devotion to the Our Lady of Guadalupe? I don't really know, but I mean, she seems to be calling out to me in my life in some different ways. One way that she's been sort of kind of calling out to me is I speak a lot of Spanish in my workplace. And learning a language has really opened up the possibility to communicate with people that I otherwise would never be able to communicate with. I don't have the gift of tongues in any sense that evangelical Christians believe, or even some Catholic circles believe. I don't even know, the way that it worked in the Acts of the Apostles. I don't know how the gift of tongues works. I don't have that, but I do have the resources to learn Spanish. So I've been doing my Duolingo. I use another app called Memrise, which is kind of like takes you through some colloquial and slang a little bit. And Mexicans, and will take it upon themselves to teach you the slang, the bad stuff. And it's pretty silly that when they like to do that. And I've heard that like cursing in Mexican is more of an art form than it is in English. Like you can really weave words together in some really colorful ways. But anyway, as a Christian, I want to spread the good news of love and in this world. And if I'm going to speak Spanish at all, I would like for it to make people's lives better. So yeah, let's find the skin color here. I didn't quite make a palette for the skin here, did I? So I should do that. So, oh wait, yeah, I did. So here, we're going to use this one as a form shadow color. This one is a cast shadow color. And then this one here will be the form shadow color. So we're going to reduce the strong, I'm going to blend them maybe though. We're going to reduce the strong saturation of the orange in the shadow here. So we're going to sort of blend them a little bit. Gonna grab that edge color right there and do it that way, and maybe replace this color here. Or maybe that was too much. Maybe we should keep it more on that purplish side. Yeah, we'll do this color here. Okay, so we'll have that color, put this color a little bit here. And then use this color for some occlusion shadow. I mean, I've been to Fatima, Portugal. I have some devotion to Our Lady of Lourdes. I've been to Lourdes. So maybe the Lord is calling me to go see Mexico. I don't know if there's a place called Guadalupe. I assume there is. Oh yeah, I have to dig up the reference to see the tail color. Okay, so on the top, that spotty, darker pink, and then on the bottom, that desaturated lighter pink. So let's go ahead and do that. I think I can use the same colors as on the sweater, but maybe a little bit more on the purple side. So let's just recycle these colors here. So this one here onto the, we'll just get the whole thing to be this color for now. But we're gonna desaturate here because the underside is more of a desaturated purple. So we're gonna use that color. I'm not gonna make a palette for this. I just want to make it quicker. So because we're almost done. I feel like I just can power through this. But yeah, maybe I should try to make my way to Guadalupe. Make some kind of pilgrimage to Mexico. That would be cool. I'm sure many people do it. I think that would be a great idea. Maybe when my boys get older. Okay, so we're gonna transition to this lighter pink color. I'm just gonna choose the colors raw. And we're gonna desaturate it a bit. I'm gonna transition to this color here above the form shadow. And we're painting into the hair there, which we don't want. So let's stay out of the hair. And let's grab this color again. Gonna put a coarse form shadow here in the bottom. Turn this form shadow as well. And then the end of the tail is a stronger, hotter pink. So let's find a base color for that. It's gonna be, I guess, around here, like that. Does that look right? Yeah, that's a bit strong, but maybe something more like that. Yeah, there we go. I got to do the computers too. So, these finishing touches always feel like they take a long time because I know exactly how they're supposed to go, and it's just a matter of executing. So, but I do want to finish it in this sitting ideally. I do have my Twitch stream on, and I have Uber Eats running. So if I get a call from Uber Eats, I'm just going to take it because I'm beyond the threshold where this this piece has been worth less per hour than an Uber Eats call. So I'll prioritize whatever earns me the most. But yeah. So yeah, Our Lady of Guadalupe. Really a fascinating story. I mean, any miracle story is really fascinating to me. Honestly, the lives of the saints and miracles are what saved my faith. I'm more of a doubting Thomas type. I couldn't rationalize, Thomas Aquinas is able to, he, with his genius, was able to rationalize the existence of God. My intellect was not that deep. I was more of a doubting Thomas, where it's like, okay, I see what I see. I try to be a rational being. and I couldn't like rationalize the existence of God. So it took me a long time in my early 20s to be like, okay, why am I still holding on to this religion? And then I found the lives of the saints. Namely, the story of Saint Joan of Arc was the one I attached myself to the most. A very powerful story that I feel needs to be retold. To modern times. Her story means a lot to me. Her story symbolizes a lot to me. Her story means a lot of things to different people. Her story, in a lot of ways, is an act of defiance, which doesn't really make sense because, as Catholics, we want to obey our parents and obey the church. Thing is, the plans that the Lord had for her were for her country. It was an act of patriotism what she did. So it's like, not just do we need to be obedient and serve our family and our church, but the larger country of our country, which is part of the world, which all of which God wants to unify. So Joan of Arc's passion story was an act of unification of her country. So a really powerful story. But what was great about it is that when she was a young teen, she never really set out to do anything like that. She was just like, okay, I want to just be a pious Christian. And then she had all these voices telling her, hey, God has some bigger plans for you, basically. So really fascinating story. But it was the lives of the saints that really, I believe, saved me, because they showed me that the story of Christ is not just a legend that happened 2,000 years ago that was handed down through the generations. The resurrection, I believe in it, but it's a hard thing to believe. It's hard to believe that Moses really parted the seas and the Exodus, like freed the Jews that way. It's hard to believe that Jesus came back from the dead and fed 5,000 with a loaf of bread and 2 fish. Well, was it 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish? These crazy, fantastical miracles that you just think it's not possible. It's just not possible, right? If I didn't see it, even if it happened. And we have miracles, like even modern miracles, like the miracle of Fatima, the 10,000 people watching the miracle of the sun, something like that. I want to learn more about that one, because I went to Fatima and I still don't have the full story on that one. But even on the small scale with stories like Saint Bernadette and how her hand didn't burn, stuff like that. And then we have Eucharistic miracles. But it's like, okay, the burning bush, like you have all these stories stacked up throughout history. I haven't experienced them myself, so I'm a doubter. I'm a doubting Thomas. But the thing is, once you start reading the lives of the saints and you see just how well documented a lot of these things are, when it comes to the early martyrs, you get a lot of embellished stories and you don't really know what's true. Stories like St. George, where he fought a dragon. Stories of saints like getting their eyes cut out, getting their heads chopped off, and still living and being able to talk, and saints coming out of their coffins and stuff like that. Saints flying around. Like, it's hard to believe this stuff, right? But the more you get into the lives of the saints, especially modern saints, and you hear stories of miracles where, okay, these things are well documented. There were scientists present. They were investigating, things like that. Like, the church does not take, like, the modern process of canonization is not taken lightly, especially when it comes to miracles. So, encountering these stories more and more help me preserve my faith, because faith is not a leap of faith. Like Jesus did say to Thomas, blessed are those who have not seen and believed. Okay, that's great. But I'm not one of those people. I'm not blessed in that way that Jesus told Thomas. I'm more like Thomas. And it's not bad to be a rational being, but I suppose the link between faith and reason is difficult to describe, especially in modernity, where scientism, which Bishop Barron likes to talk about, has taken over as being the only way to know things, which is, I can't argue against it as eloquently as Bishop Barron can, but it's kind of a thing where, to say that science is the only way to know things is a non-scientific claim. It is a philosophical claim. It is a claim. It is a claim of belief. So even that is like interesting. And also talking about how like math is not a scientific thing in the sense that it can't be tested. It can be tested through logic, which is, you know, a form of like philosophy. So yeah, you know, stuff like that. It's really interesting to me, and I don't have the chops to be able to speak about it well. But if I develop it, then, you know, that would be great. But I'm just drawing pictures of these anime characters, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So yeah, we're just trying to finish this up. I'm just kind of going over details as I see them. You know, it's sort of come together. I've learned to trust the process. I need to be better about my deadlines because the last couple commissions have gone over with the time limits for each of them. So I need to be more strict about the planning on that, or more strict about the pricing, because I should be charging a lot more if I'm going to be spending this amount of time on these commissions. So it's always been a problem with me. It's a problem that I had solved, you know, over and over, but need to have the discipline to apply. So, but that said, I do need to get out of here. I do need to take my break and, you know, get in the house and start working. So doing chores and stuff. So I'll talk to you guys later. God bless you. Bye-bye.